Luke, it's a week without football. It must be quite rare.
Yeah, it's rare. Yeah, I think it's good and bad. I think if you lose, you want to play again straight away, obviously. But then it does give us time to work, and it gives players time to recover.
It does feel like it's been 100 miles an hour since you and Russell took over. Does it help getting out on the training ground for a week?
Yeah, it has been. It's been really, really busy schedule, and I think the next game we'll know if it helped us being out on the training ground or not. But obviously, we're trying to make the very best use of the time that we've got now and prepare for the next home game on Tuesday.
Form has taken a little bit of a wayward slant in the last few weeks. Is there anything that you can put that down to?
I think it's difficult to say performance because I thought the performance at Burton was outstanding, really. I think we made one mistake pretty much in the game. There was a couple of moments at the beginning. It's impossible to play a game of football without some oohs. But I think over the course of the 90 minutes, I think we showed the players showed an outstanding performance. And then in the game here, I think there was a first half performance that was very good, because I think the opposition are very, very strong and we had to spar with them. I think we started to land the first punches in the first 45, and then I think it was clearly a lesser performance in the second period. So I think performance-wise, there's not a huge problem in the last two games. Results-wise, yes, a big problem. So we have to try to convince the players that the performances have been better than they've been worse, and the results need to reflect that.
You played an awful lot of teams at the top end of the table. Do you almost need a few games now to teams that are more in and around you to sort of get a fair reflection of where MK Dons really are?
I think the teams pose different problems. I think the teams that at the top of the table are more likely to play an open game because they probably believe in what they do, and then the question is, can what we do be better than what they do? I think sometimes when we play the teams that are fighting more at the bottom of the table, they may come up with a plan to try and stop us or try to do something they didn't do before with a different formation, a different style, a deeper line, higher press, less press. And so it can be a difficult a problem. Sometimes with the teams at the top, we know what they'll do because they're very, very good at it, and they're not going to change for anybody. So I think each game gives different problems, and I think we've shown that we can beat any team and that we can lose to any team. So we have to first and foremost be better at what we do, and we have to be aware of the opposition, and sometimes we have to try to guess what they're going to do and give the players an A and a B scenario that your opponent may do this, but they may do the other. It's difficult.
Phil Parkinson at the weekend said that MK Dons look like a team that's out of position in the division, and I suppose you're inclined to agree.
Yeah, I think it's nice to hear that, especially from somebody like Phil, because he's seen everything in the division, and he doesn't dish out compliments very easily. So we take a lot from that. Of course, it's great for the mentality of the staff and the players to hear that people are respectful of us, but ultimately we would rather be in the position that reflects that we're a good team rather than the eye telling you we're a good team and the results not matching.
You've been here for a couple of months now. Has it been everything you expected, or has it been an easier process? Has it been more difficult?
I think at the moment it's very difficult to reflect because we're in the middle of the woods and it's impossible to see the trees. So at the moment I feel driven and motivated. I've got very, very good people around me, so that makes the day-to-day easier. When you're in the position we're in, nothing is easy. It's hard to feel enjoyment and to reflect, but we hope at the end of the season we have a lot of things to look back on and to take the good and try and put right the bad.
3 new players in already. How have the new lads settled in?
I think they've settled in very, very well. Fortunately, I know 2 of the new players anyway, so I can see their personality coming through already, so I can see that they've settled in. Colton I didn't know as much before, but Colton seems to have fit in very, very nicely. I think he's got a great personality for this group. I think he adds a lot that we probably don't have a similar character in the dressing room. So I think he's brought a lot. He's brought a lot in.
Both Ben and Lewis have suffered pretty big injuries in the last few years. How important is it for them not just to get football, but to get that level of confidence back again?
Yeah, that's right. I think they need to be on the pitch, and the management have got the task of managing how much time to give them, in each game, and to make sure that we have them for the remainder of the season rather than lose them again. And of course, we care about the players as well, and we don't want to put the players in a risk, unnecessarily. But both players have done a tremendous amount of work physically to try to make their bodies stronger over the last couple of years. And if they hadn't had the injuries, I don't think we'd be able to get either player, because they're exceptional footballers.
Any more expected in during this month?
Hard to know, because there's so many different factors in each process. We can't supermarket sweep. We need to make sure everything is balanced up, and that takes a lot of negotiation and people thinking realistically, intelligently about every move to make. And of course, other clubs are trying to make moves on players, and it is very difficult. But I would say it's not impossible to imagine another player to come in. It's not impossible to imagine that we're already done.
You've obviously said that you know two of the players. Russell knows two of them as well, having brought them in. Is it sometimes easier when you need short-term fixes, as MK Dons probably do, that you go with what you know?
I think what I would say is that when you're in a position where there's going to be some tough moments because of where we are, it's impossible to relax. I think then if you know players' character and you've been in dressing rooms with those guys before when things haven't gone well, and you know that they stood up to that, it's incredibly important. It really is. Character is as important as your first touch, your speed, and these guys have shown, certainly to myself with Ben and Louis, that they can stand up to any test, and of course the manager knows Carlton is exactly the same type of personality. So it is important that you've got guys that are ready for the tough times, and of course they all have real quality as players as well.
Obviously, with the weekend off, how does the schedule work? Do you give the players the weekend off, or are you in training this weekend?
The schedule will be tailored really to how much each player has done, and what their requirements are. Some of them, the best thing they can do is rest, for sure, because the schedule's been incredible, and training facilities are difficult, pitches are very heavy. We're moving from one surface to another. It may sound trivial, but honestly it's not. When the guys are pounding the pitch, working hard, the surface has a big effect on what you're doing. If you went to walk around the shops in stilettos for the first time, you're going to struggle. You might get laughed at as well, but you're going to struggle with your body's going to struggle to adjust to that. And then the next day you're in flip flops. Is something similar to this, really, with the movement of the training facilities constantly battling against the weather. So some have accumulated a huge amount of match minutes and training. They will rest. Others will do more to try to get themselves up to speed where they need to be.